Hello everyone, my name is Michael and welcome to episode 4 of the Ruinous Outtakes. I hope you all had a great day, and without further ado, let's hop straight into it, shall we? In today's episode of the Ruinous Outtakes, we'll be going over one of the Xenos races, specifically one of my favourites, the Orks. A horde of terrifyingly strong, tall, muscular brutes who love nothing more than to fight, to scrap, and to loot. They trade with a currency called teeth, all sorts of wonderful things. But before all that, I need to go over what happened last time on the Ruinous Outcome. Continuing off from where we left off last time, our characters wake up on the grounds of the Agalade estate. We had just made it to this place after our crash landing from the Graceful Charity. Before we go for our meeting to learn what our plan is, we decide to requisition some new war gear just in case we run into opposition in this mission. Barametrius manages to get himself a fancy new bolt gun. Amoros buys an arc pistol for some self-defense out of the armature. And Royce gets some Chirurgeon's tools to help keep us in the fight a bit longer. After getting all of our stuff, which I got nothing, I'm a soldier, no one really wants to give me anything, we head over to Antario Agalade's office, where he briefs us on the mission. He tells us that this uprising's demands are completely out of their reach. What they're asking for is something they physically cannot do. He wants us to go in and cripple the insurrection to make sure that they stop going on strike, because they're struggling to meet the tithe as it is. Upon receiving our instructions, our group decides that the best course of action is to go through a diplomatic route, where we will try and reason with them and make them understand that their demands are impossible for them to meet. We're given a fancy transport to head over to one of the mines. All of the citizens are underground due to the acid rains and all that. We arrive at the first mine to find that the entire workforce had been starved. It seems that they were blocked off from the main outpost where this resistance cell was, because 2 Yeti had burst into the cave and made that lane their nest. You might be wondering, why are Yetis on this planet? Well, as it turns out, they appear to be the native species back when the planet was a vibrant and lovely world, not a acid rain death ball. We're sent to go deal with them as the miners cannot, and after quickly dispatching them, and rather easily, might I add, we all group up and start heading to the main cavern together. With that, the episode ended. But at the end of the episode, we did get some experience. So, in some last-minute experience spending, a couple of the players decided to increase some of their abilities. Barametrius got better at shooting, stabbing, and got a new talent, which is the Angels of Death, which gives him extra damage on his Astartes grade weaponry. Amoros got some extra ballistic skill to shoot better, increased his fellowship and his deception as well, so he can talk his way out of stuff better. He also got the talent Deathworld Veteran for acids, so the acid rain is less of a problem for him. Now that we got all that out of the way, we can finally move on to the Orks. To start us off with a quick summary of what Orks are, they're huge, green-skinned barbarians who pillage, kill, fight, and loot simply because it's what they enjoy the most. One of their sayings is that if you get in a fight, it's a good day. If you get in 2 fights in the same day, it's the best day of your life. Their social hierarchy is simply based off of who's the biggest. If you're the biggest, you're the boss. It could be a case of you're leading this warband for several years, then all of a sudden an orc from another warband comes along and he's 2 inches bigger than you. Congratulations, you're no longer the boss. He's the boss. The Orks themselves were created during the War in Heaven to fight the Necrons. However, they were much more advanced and intelligent back then, being referred to as the Krorks. However, once the war ended, the Eldar went into hiding and the Necrons went to sleep. Not being able to fight anything, the Orks eventually devolved into what we know now, becoming a lot dumber and weaker. The Orks themselves are a collective being. Their belief powers their society without their knowledge. Their weapons are literally just bits of scrap metal that they found mashed together in the shape of a gun and it works simply because they believe it will. The same can be said about most of their vehicles as well. But their powers of belief doesn't just stop there. Their culture has made it so that even colours painted on vehicles will make it do certain things. The colour red is often assumed with speed, and that means anything they paint red will go faster. Blue is a lucky colour, so paint that on a car, and it's luckier. Green is, of course, the best colour because they are green. Black is dead hard, so if you paint something black, it's going to take so much more hits before it can go down. And yellow is more boomy, which means it blows stuff up better. It also allows them to survive a lot of things that would be considered very fatal in other cultures. Decapitation? That's fine, just sew the head back onto another body. Poisons? You'll walk it off. Killing your past self just so you can have a copy of your favourite gun? That's fine. It's just a normal Tuesday for them. Part of their belief is theorized to stem from their twin gods, Gork and Mork. They have two, because what's the point of one god if he's got no one to fight? Gork is brutal but cunning, and Mork is cunning but brutal. Following these two gods, the Orks fight throughout the galaxy as one of the greatest threats to the Imperium and other factions. Moving on to the first actual type of greenskin are the Grots. They're the smallest and weakest of Orc society, being smaller than most other races. Due to their small forms and their weak bodies, the Orcs reign over them like tyrants. They force them to do anything from manual labour to suicide missions to the smallest of tasks they just can't be bothered to do, like fetch me that ammo, get me a drink, go feed the squigs, all that sort of stuff. They are weak themselves, but they are many in number. A huge swarm of Grots can be a problem for anyone. Together, they cause uprisings against their Orc oppressors to little avail. The figurehead that sparks these revolutions is a Grot called the Red Gobbo. His name is known all over the galaxy in greenskin culture, simply for what he represents, and that is freedom of Grots, which the Orcs don't want. They're smaller than them, so they should be their servants. That's how they work. Orcs often use them as footballs, kicking them at other Orcs or into pens so they can be eaten by squigs. Moving on to the next part are the squigs. They're not actually greenskins or Orcs themselves. They're more so an animal species that have been tamed by the Orcs for hundreds of different uses because there are so many different types of them. They each serve a specific purpose depending on the type of the squig. A few examples include attack squigs, which often follow high-ranking Orcs as allied pets to bite and maul their enemies in fights. Bomb squigs, squigs that have grown explosives inside of them, or just a normal one that has been strapped with a shit ton of mines that they send running into enemies for very big explosions. It is very effective when it works. Hair squigs. A squig that attaches to the top of an Orc's head to copy the effect of hair. It's mainly just for style, really. Some Orcs do grow attached to their hair squigs and will kill for them. Squig pipes, which are squigs in the shape of bagpipes used for music in the bass. Gotta treat the boys to something nice every now and then. And bag squigs, which are squigs with a huge stomach that they just use to store a bunch of stuff. On top of all these different types, which there are still a bunch that I haven't mentioned, there are more wild and deadly squigs, being a lot bigger. They're so deadly, in fact, that they are only trained by some of the most wild of Orc clans. A few to name are squig hogs, which are big enough to ride by your average Orc boy. Squigosaurs. They tower most vehicles and are ridden by the fiercest of war bosses. And lastly, squigoths. These are gargantuan creatures. I dare say they could even rival an Imperial Knight in height. They act as walking fortresses, carrying countless numbers of boys into the fray, while also tearing down anything in their path. Structures, they'll just run straight through it. People, they'll get stepped on. Flying things, they've mounted guns to those bad boys. Have fun getting past it. The next one is the first actual Orc. The most generic type of Orc is often referred to as a boy, or boys if you're referring to a mass of them. They make up roughly 88% of the Orcs' fighting force, and they crush their enemies under huge hordes of them. We're talking thousands to hundreds of thousands in a small incursion. They're so simple-minded that they don't really use strategy. They only have one in mind, and that is run forward, hit the enemies, get in the scrap. That's all they care about. They don't care about their own life. They just want to fight. Their fighting prowess, however, is not to be laughed at. They are far stronger than most of the things in the galaxy, and they are so resilient that sustained gunfire is barely enough to keep them held back. On top of all this amazing versatility they also have an incredible arsenal of gear, despite it looking like it was pulled out of a bin. The generic boy can wield such thing as a burner, which is a flamethrower, a big shooter, which is a heavy machine gun, a rocket launcher, which speaks for itself, choppers, which can be axes or knives, or big choppers, which is a very, very big axe. However, without the proper leadership and supervision of one of the higher members of the warband, the boys get a bit rowdy and don't really know who to fight, and will just start fighting with whatever's closest, even themselves. They need clear orders and a target, or otherwise they'll just destroy themselves from within, which is where the next type of orc comes in. The boys need someone overseeing them, like I said, and that higher command is orcs titled knobs. They are called knobs because it's a bastardization of the imperial word noble. Knobs are bigger than boys, but they're smaller than a war boss. They're a nice middle ground. Think of it like you have a captain, and then you have your lieutenants. They're a lot tougher and stronger than your usual boy, not to mention that their size also allows them to wield fearsome power claws, which are bigger melee weapons which cover the orc's entire hand. Knobs, more often than not, get first pick on loot and scrap after every battle. They're in charge, so they should get all the good stuff. Don't need to give anything good to your subordinates. It's all yours. You did the heavy lifting after all. They abuse their power a lot, but even though they do, the orcs still listen to them. Their belief structure is, of course, the biggest is the boss. The knob is bigger than them, so they listen. Another thing that knobs like to do is mount a pole to their back. They like to put the skulls of those they've killed on it as a show of force and superiority to the other higher command. If they can't get the skull off the head, helmet's a fair game, they still count. Moving on to the next archetype of orcs, we've talked about some pretty heavy close quarters fighters. However, the orcs do have their own ranged units, and these units are quite terrifying in their own regard, despite orc shooting not really existing. Their two primary types of ranged fighters are referred to as looters and flashgits. They're entirely deadly at range, but they're still orcs, which means even if you get in close, they can still absolutely pummel you with just their raw strength. Looters are the best orc scavengers around. They're constantly finding parts to upgrade their guns, always wanting them to be more killy and shooty. More often than not, they're led by orc mechs. Orc mechs like to have the good bits, so it makes sense that they'll be around the guys that find the best bits. Under the mech's supervision, they fire thousands of rounds per minute, screaming with joy all the while. Now the looters, they're well loved. The flashgits, however, the orcs hate them. Absolutely despise them. They think they're far too flashy, which is why they've nicknamed them Flashy Gits. Their weapons are called snaz guns, and they are the most powerful orc machine guns that the infantry can muster. The ranged firepower that these snaz guns are able to throw out is unbearable for anything that goes against it. All they see is a literal sea of lead flying over them that keeps them suppressed in cover. The flashgits maintain their guns to a standard that no other orc can. The upgrades that they have for their guns are oftentimes rewards from deals that they have struck with other factions. Most flashgits belong to an orc war band called the Freebooters, which just go around taking jobs from any old faction so long as they get paid. But that's not what we're on about right now. And now moving on to the final part of orc society, the war boss. The biggest of the war band. The head git in charge of the fight. The orc with the plan. War bosses are what make the war. Their size is the biggest of their warband. Their strength far greater than any other in their army. Their resilience, outstanding. Their armor is a testament to the battles they've won and the trophies they've collected. The weapons they have command the respect of every orc in this army. To command hundreds of millions of unruly savages and all of them respect you is what they take pride in the most. They're often found leading from the front of the battle, always the first to the scrap and always the first to loot. The boss will always get what he wants. Other notable commanders for the orc armies include the Weird Boy, an orc psycho we covered in the last episode of the Outtakes, gone mad from too much war energy. He uses the powers of the two gods to crush all of the foes before him, whether that be summoning Gork's foot, summoning Mork to vomit on his foes, or turning people into squigs. The Mech Boy, a genius of orc kind, responsible for making sure their vehicles are maintained and inventing new gadgets to crump better. The Pain Boy, the doctor of the orc warband. All the boys don't want to end up on his table because they're quite mad sciencey. The Pain Boys heal up the orcs and make sure they stay out of the grave, while also satisfying their own morbid curiosity. Commandos, elite squads of boys, they take pride in stealth tactics. Uncommon for orcs to rather take the sneaky approach, but they enjoy it. They're often seen going behind enemy lines in covert operations to cripple supply lines or blow up refineries. And lastly, beast bosses. A type of war boss that often belongs to one of the wilder orc warbands I mentioned earlier during the squig segment. More often than not, you can find them on top of a squigosaur. If not, they're still just as deadly. With that deep dive into the orcs done, thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Ruinous Outtakes. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe as well, just so you can be notified of our next episode coming out. If you really liked it, please leave a comment and tell us what you liked. And if I got something wrong, feel free to tell me. I'm only human after all, I can't retain everything. If you want to reach out to us in other places, however, you can also find us on our social medias. We have Instagram, we have Twitter/X, we have TikTok, we have a Reddit, but don't go there. You can also find us on other platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Audible. All of these can be found under our tag at TWO D&D Podcast. That is TWO D&D Podcast. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one. Glory to the God Emperor!
Listen, man, you don't want to meet my cousin.
It's true.
We didn't meet cousin last time.
No.
Good, and you never will.
We did.
He died.
No, they locked him in the dungeon because he couldn't stop screaming.
Do you remember?
No, he was the creepy guy in the corner.
That's asbestos.
Oh shit, he's whipping it out. Fuck.
He's pulling his cock out! Yeah!
And now, do any of you have any idea what sort of equipment you would like to acquire?
Yeah, you're right.
I want that.
He wants a bolter.
I want that.
You want that?
Me want boater.
You want Boto.
Ball tour.
I want a plasma cat. I mean, where does the you know the lengths of what we can get end?
On the wealth
You can
value, I
attempt
believe.
to get anything. This is a check.
We can get a multi-melter.
Can I get?
Pardon me, you'll probably fail, but you could try.
Can I get
What
another
if I
battle barge?
succeed?
Then you have a multi-melter.
Oh.
You probably can't hold it, but you have it.
Let's be nice podcasters and make this a fun and coherent game by not trying that.
Can I get another battle barge? Just so we get
I can
way off.
carry it.
Yeah, you can. What's that gonna do?
I don't.
Very good.
I don't
actually.
have a value
Against
for a battle barge,
people,
and it'd probably
just
be in the
swarms of
hundreds of
civilians.
millions.
It's pretty. I mean, a melter's pretty good against any target. I feel.
We figured that out in the last Wrath and Glory.
Oh,
campaign.
yeah, we did.
How do we roll wreck?
He's still looking.
Yeah. Well, you see.
Come, my son.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
that's even that's just the cum.
The cum. The worst cum.
The come out.
Oh no!
The worst cum.
I have a question for Reap.
Are
you Primaris Scout?
No.
No.
Firstborn. Primaris, I can't afford in terms of, because Primaris are tier 4 and Primaris Scouts don't exist in the setting.
Right.
If obviously if it was mechanics forgiving, then I would be a Primaris, but because they're a different tier and much higher. If I wanted to be a Primaris Marine,
Yeah.
I would have 10 XP left to give me a class.
Really?
Yeah. So I would just be a Primaris with no class, which isn't great.
No.
So I decided that wasn't a good idea,
Fair.
because then I'm just naked.
Yeah.
I'm just a naked Primaris Marine. Like, how the fuck did you get here? I don't know. Belisarius Balls defrosted me last week and he just dropped me on this shithole. I don't know what's happening.
There is a guy named Trazan.
Oh, God, yeah. some fucked up skeleton put me in his pocket and dropped me on his flight.
Yeah.
I came crashing into orbit.
It's like the plot of Yoshi's Island. I'm the baby.
Who's the baby?
You're the baby.
I'm the baby.
You're the baby.
I'm the baby.
Who's the baby?
I'm the baby.
Fun fact, that wasn't scripted. He just showed up to set that day and did that.
Can you hear me?
The sport of welly wanging is stupid. Let's get back to it.
With no desire to recontinue our argument from yesterday, I would like to point out that we have both been given a mission here.
I know, it's my duty. I'm not going to stop it. Just
Our
have to
mission
voice it.
is to quench this rebellion. No matter how reasonable their demands are, it is not suited to how the governor wishes this planet to be run. Even if I myself disagree with it.
And once more, it's out of scope.
What do you mean?
The world can't be repaired. They want the world to go back to what it was. That's not possible.
Was that one of the demands?
That was not their demand.
That's what they wanted.
That was one of their.
Oh, was it?
That was.
Oh.
So the demands aren't reasonable.
No!
Okay, well,
That's why I said it's out of scope!
Shit, the peasants don't know they're dealing with him. The man who sold the world.
It is, it's him.
I'm gonna find a cardboard box.
That's good. That is good, actually.
What a thrill.
Yeah, what a thrill. Yeah, we're going to go up a big fucking ladder in this cave.
I've
We're going to be there for an entire hour, real time.
I-
So
haven't
I've
made
never
an
played
entire
this,
cover
but
of that
everyone
song.
else knows this, so
It's
this
somewhere
seems
on my
like it might
phone.
be grounds for a different season of The Worst Outcome. Let us know if you like that idea.
I would love to do a Metal Gear style thing.
That
I've
would be
mentioned
so
in the
funny.
past.
I don't know Metal Gears.
Well, I mean, obviously, you'd have to. I mean, whoever would run that would have to make the story batshit insane.
Oh, obviously.
This shall maintain its level of power.
Thank you very much.
I forgot the first half of my bit.
Go back. Finn, what are you doing?
Don't. No.
Because
It doesn't leave this room. Keep going.
like, if you want to be distracting, you
Keep
got to explain
no.
to the class.
I can't still think. That was a definite, like, incredible
No.
gassy kind of move over there.
No, let's keep going. Let's keep moving. Keep moving. I thought you were laughing because that's the exact same story Michael did in our one shot.
That wasn't even what I made up. That was in the book.
I know.
What one shot?
Well, when you two weren't here, we did a
A one shot with the module. character.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I tried to
There was an
Logan a
immortal
Yeti.
black Yeti at the top of the mountain.
Oh, damn.
We had to, we made friends with a hag. Anyways,
So none of us were ready for Yeti.
no. To be fair, I actually remember saying to Jay, it's kind of interesting to call them Yetis. And then I completely forgot for a couple months that we have Yetis in Agalia. Native.
Oh boy.
The hazard level went
You want
up.
a snow cone?
Welcome to the Himalayas!
That was one of the thoughts, but alternatively, I think it was because it was like, well, it's kind of safe if you're underground. Let's have a problem underground.
I'm not being rude.
What?
Sorry.
Huh?
Don't worry.
I didn't.
Don't worry.
My dice are too big.
Don't worry.
For my bum holes.
Yes, they're too big for my bum hole. I have a tiny, tight little...
Outtakes!
I'm gonna stop now.
You want to rephrase that?